Dana Loesch is with us. Dana, I associate you as a conservative, and I imagine you've got some thoughts about whether or not the Dreamers should be allowed to stay on any longer. Tell us what you think.
Well, Stuart, always good to be with you, and happy Tuesday. I'm pleased that the president has decided to end this whole phone and pen thing that we saw with the previous administration and allow Congress to do its job. This is congressional authority right here. This isn't something that should come from the This isn't something that should come from the commander-in-chief, the executive branch. This is Congress's move to make, and Congress needs to take this up and do something about it. This is where people need to act and change hearts and minds. If they strongly believe that this is something that should be considered and made into law, well, that's the beauty of America, is that you can petition your elected official and you can have them change that in Congress, but you don't demand that the president do it. And it is in Speaker Ryan's hands at this moment. But here's the big thing, though, Stuart. If the GOP if they're determined to change DACA and fix, without lack of a better way to put it, to fix DACA, and they do nothing on health care, you're going to see a lot of Republican voters, you're going to see a lot of conservatives revolt over that, and that would be very bad messaging for the Republican Party headed into a midterm cycle.
I take your point, Dana. I want to go back to Chris Stirewalt. It seems like now the ball is in Congress's court. It looks like Congress will do something about it to let the 800,000, most of them, they will stay. And may I express the opinion that I think that's the right thing. I approve of that. I think that's what America is all about. Now, what say you, Chris?
There's almost no constituency, no credible constituency to speak of for the idea of lining these people up for immediate deportation. That is, as the president found, what sounded good for some small audiences in his primary campaign is really quite impractical from a political sense while he's governing. And let me express a little bit of cautious optimism for the Republicans on this issue. Not only do I think that they can probably pretty expeditiously deal with the question of what to do with this small number, this could be the start of something that gets rolling on a larger immigration reform effort. Remember, the reason that they couldn't get it done before was that Republicans said they lacked the trust in Obama to do the enforcement so that you could deal with those folks who are here. Handled correctly, this could be the beginning. If only Nixon can go to China, maybe only Donald Trump can sign comprehensive immigration legislation.
Fair point indeed. Peter Kiernan.
Yes, I think you're seeing Lindsey Graham and Dick Durbin and others come together to try and promote bills. This will turn out as something good for DACA, I think, in the end. This is a program that was, as you know, just a memo outlined by the Homeland Security Administration, not an executive order, not a law. So the people who were benefiting from DACA were exposed. It could be wiped out with caprice. Now it's going to be put into law. These are people who are working, who are starting businesses, who are paying mortgages and taxes and own homes, and doing something that's legal and binding and lasting for them is a good thing.
According to Homeland Security, you can apply for DACA renewal applications, and that basically buys you 2-year protection, and you can still do that through October 5th. And if it's not honored if Congress doesn't act before March of next year, and assuming you haven't broken the law, you still will be in the country. So
it sounds like a compromise.
It does,
in their favor.
That's a big if. Congress is being pushed to act here.
Dana, would you come back in again, please? Forget the legality for a second. Forget the politics for a second. I think America is the kind of country which should open its arms to these 800,000 people who are here illegally but through no fault of their own. I'm asking you a moral question. Are you with me on this?
It depends. I have a caveat. First off, I think that the United States definitely should get to know who's coming into the country, who's coming into the borders. But at the same time, those dreamers out there, those individuals, Stuart, if you can apply for college and you can apply for a job, you can apply to become a legal citizen, particularly since you have this 2-year grace period. And under the previous president, you were also allowed a grace period under DACA. But there are some individuals who unfortunately did not take advantage of that grace period. So you have to show good faith in your country for your country country, if you are applying to become a citizen of this country, for this country to show good faith in you. And if you have not taken that opportunity during this grace period to apply and become a legal citizen, to go through things that my friend Stuart have waited for 7 and 8 years to go through to become a legal citizen by doing it the right way, then I'm not quite sure that that should be considered. So I think that there are some, it's definitely not a cut and dry issue. It's not black nor is it white, because you also have to respect the rules of a sovereign country.
Okay, understood. And everybody's making good points here, but I think that at the end of the day, those 800,000 people, most of them, almost all of them, I think stay.
I do.
Anybody would take me on that?
I think so, and I'm going to add one more thing, because somebody has to be the money counter here. I think that will be good economically for the country if they stay.
Okay. I want to thank Dana and Chris. Thanks very much for being with us. Very important day. This policy statement from the Attorney General is a very big deal, and we thank you for your analysis. All good stuff.